Hey guys, CryptoDad here again. Thanks for joining me on the Saturday night live stream, live from Michigan, where you can throw out questions and I'll do my best to get them answered. We'll talk about Bitcoin. We'll talk about the news. We'll talk about altcoins. Going to move some crypto around for you guys. Going to show you some hardware wallet tricks. And I'm going to talk about some Reddit posts that I've been reading lately. I kind of think that's a good idea to keep everybody up to speed on what's kind of being discussed in the community. Welcome to the very first Saturday night live stream of 2024. The Wednesday stream was oh, doggone it. I could have sworn that, anyway. Should I start over? Doggone it. I could have sworn when I looked down at this thing right before we started that the light was white. And I was about to make a comment about, oh, you probably heard me rustling around before the stream started. And, but no, apparently it wasn't white. It was still orange because I mute it when I go live and you see that screen coming in. I mute my mic so you don't hear me rustling around while the wait screen is up. Anywho, sorry. Again. Thank you for being here live in the first live stream of 2024 with the CryptoDad. Where I will do my best to get to your questions, and we'll talk about Bitcoin. We'll talk about the news. I'm going to move some crypto around for you guys, and I'm here with the rig, all that stuff you saw me flailing around before. Sorry, guys. I apologize profusely that my mic was muted when I started. Yeah. It's what happens when you're 60 years old. You can't work your technology to the best of your, despite all of your machinations, right? Despite, starting this thing like 45 minutes early and testing everything and the cameras and the lights and making sure everything's right. And then boom, right when I go live, the mic. Again, the mic. Hey, first one of the new year. That's my New Year's resolution, to have at least one technical difficulty in every Saturday night live stream. I was going to turn over and like, hey, I'm going to greet everybody, but no, I see everyone's over there screaming that they can't hear me. So I apologize. You love us. I love you guys too. Thank you. I mentioned that I wanted to talk about some Reddit posts tonight. I'll usually bring up, I read this Reddit post, and then I don't have it. So there were several that I read this week related to crypto and hardware wallets that I wanted to show you guys. So I've got those. In addition to our news stories, the news, we're going to focus mostly on the stuff that's going on with the EFT, Exchange Traded Fund. Let's do this first one here, and I was going to get these all lined up, but c'est la vie, we can do that. Let's get this off here. So this was from yesterday, BTC price centers. Oh, I'm sorry. No, this is from today. BTC price centers on 43K as nervous Bitcoin traders await ETF news. But as you can see, we've been hovering right just under 44,000, which is not bad considering, right? We broke 45 a couple of days ago, and then pulled back a little bit. We had a dip. I think the big dip down to 40,000 briefly was early Wednesday morning, but we got through that, and then I think since that we pushed up. Let's see. Just give us. Let's look at the 7-day Bitcoin chart just to see, because it has been a bit of a wild week. Yeah. So that dip down below 40 didn't really show up, but here we were at the beginning of the year, and then around Wednesday we had this dip down to 42 according to CoinGecko, but on some articles I saw it was as low as 40,500 something, briefly, not very long, obviously. And then we got back up to 44, almost 44.5, and now here we are at around 43.8. So not too shabby, really. This little dip was due to an article written by some financial blog magazine saying they thought that the ETF would be rejected, which is kind of weird because everyone else has been saying it was, a done deal. It was just a matter of time. And then one blog writes that they think it's going to be rejected and everybody dumps. It's just weird how this market works. But anyway, that was just me reminiscing. Bitcoin feels stuck in limbo amid a lack of cues over whether or not the US ETF will get the go-ahead. But BTC price holds higher versus earlier in the week. Well, I just told you all that, right? Commentators had expected volatility on the day as rumors swirled over a potential approval of the first spot Bitcoin ETF. I wanted to, Kenny and I, go back and forth through email during the, go back and forth through email during the week, and he thought that the Bitcoin ETF would be approved after the market close on Friday, which was a pretty good prediction, but as it turned out, they did not, and I guess they're waiting until the bitter end whether to give us their decision, whether they're going to approve or deny these ETF applications. We're talking about the SEC here. That's kind of where we sit, right? And let's see. Oh, okay, that's a little bit later. Let's see. Our next one is, this is the one from yesterday. Rumor mill goes into overdrive for a spot Bitcoin ETF approval on Friday, but that was yesterday and it didn't happen. So we're still in limbo, right? We don't know if this thing is going to be approved or not. And there was quite a bit of speculation that it was going to be yesterday, but it did not happen. Bitcoin ETF tomorrow. That was January 4th. Analysts splash cold water on rumors. Bloomberg ETF analyst described much of the speculation around a January 5th approval as noise, saying he still expects approval to arrive between January 8th or 10th. So that's when the rubber's going to meet the road, right? So crazy. For those of you who may not be aware, an ETF is an exchange-traded fund, which means that people will be able to invest in Bitcoin indirectly by owning a share of this ETF. And basically, the ETF company will have to hold Bitcoin in order to be, comply with regulations. And so not only will it legitimize Bitcoin in the big financial world, but it will require some big financial institutions to actually purchase and hold some Bitcoin in order to run this ETF. There was a lot of speculation that it would be an in-kind ETF, which I think means that it gets settled in Bitcoin at the end. But I think the SEC is pushing these big firms to make it on a cash basis, so that at the end of whatever these terms are, they will settle up in cash if someone cashes out or cashes in. So there's been a lot of speculation of what it's going to look like when it finally does hit, but it hasn't hit yet. But obviously it will be good for Bitcoin in the crypto market, although it might also end up being a buy the rumor, sell the news event, where the price of Bitcoin has been going up in anticipation of this event, and then once the event hits, there's a little bit of a sell-off. This happens a lot with stocks as well, like company merger and stuff like that. There's a lot of run-ups up to, and then when the news finally breaks, the price of the stock will go down after that. So we'll see what happens. Bitcoin is not a stock, so could be a completely different situation with Bitcoin. Let's take a look at what we got here. And then this story was from today. Well, actually, I guess it was from yesterday, January 5th. SEC moves closer to spot Bitcoin ETF approval with a 19B-4 amendment filing. As the week draws to a close, 11 spot Bitcoin ETF applications have submitted 19B-4 amendment forms, with the deadline for the U.S. SEC to approve or deny the product just days away. Ouch. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission has begun accepting filings by exchanges in a sign towards approval of listing a spot Bitcoin exchange-traded fund. On January 5th, the amendments were filed for spot Bitcoin ETF from asset managers BlackRock, Valkyrie, Grayscale, Bitwise, Hashdex, ARC21 Shares, Investco, Galaxy, Fidelity, Franklin Templeton, Van Eck, and WisdomTree. So all of them submitted updated filings or amendment paperwork. So this is a good sign, right? They say that it should drop before January 10th. We'll see, right? We'll see what happens next week, and we'll see what happens to the price in relation to this, right? Kenny, when he sends me the news, goes, it's like Groundhog Day. Everything is ETF, 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 and that has kind of been the news as we do this. And I wanted to bring up this little FUD article. Bitcoin ETF approval would be a historic mistake, says Better Markets CEO. Bloomberg ETF analyst James Seffart disagreed with the letter, arguing that denying the spot Bitcoin ETF would be a criminal move. Interesting. Dennis Keller, I hope I pronounced his name right, CEO of the nonprofit organization Better Markets, has urged the United States Securities and Exchange Commission not to approve a spot Bitcoin exchange-traded fund, arguing that it goes against the core principles of the regulatory body. Wow. In a letter addressed to SEC Secretary Vanessa Countryman on January 5th, Keller emphasized that if the SEC were to approve a spot Bitcoin ETF, it could lead to investors facing significant risks. We submit this supplemental comment letter, which Better Markets very rarely does, because it would be a grave, if not historic, mistake, almost certainly leading to a massive investor harm if the SEC approves the pending rule change. He doesn't, well, I'm assuming that he's going to explain his logic behind that. As discussed below. Okay, I'm not going to read the whole thing. He argued that the proposed product would expose investors to the risk of potential fraud, a concern he claims is commonly associated with the crypto industry. I don't see how fraud is going to come into play if someone's investing in an ETF. It's not like you're going to give your money to the ETF and they're going to abscond with it or anything like that. It's based on the overall market price of Bitcoin. I don't see how fraud could come into play with this. Market thoroughly contaminated with fraud and manipulation. Well, that's the pot calling the kettle black, right? We've talked many times about how the mainstream financial markets are fraught with fraud and manipulation. JP Morgan being one of the biggest examples. They were, a lot of their traders were nailed for manipulating the metals market. They have also paid out huge sums to settle criminal cases against them involving fraud and misrepresentation and just all kinds of things. So, of course, oh, thank you, Joseph, for that. I appreciate that. I just did a double take because I've got my speaker over there on behind me for when I'm playing my games. Let's put it over here so I can see it on the main, hear it, the main speakers. I like that better. There we go. I had to change my speakers. Cointelegraph recently reported that over 324,000 crypto users fell victim to phishing scams in 2023, with around 295 million in digital assets lost to wallet drainers. You know, people are getting phished and scammed all the time, not only in crypto, but in dollars and IRS, people claiming to be from the IRS and or law enforcement or collection agencies or their banks. And so fraud and phishing scams are not confined to the crypto space. And so I don't see how an ETF would be affected by any of this anyway. It really has nothing to do with the price of Bitcoin or losing crypto to wallet drainers. Are you implying that BlackRock might get their wallet drained? It just doesn't seem feasible. I'm sure they have many, multi-sig wallets and all kinds of offline storage solutions for whatever Bitcoin they're going to be holding. They're not going to be, connecting their hardware wallets to DeFi site and wallet drainers. Keller further explained that would also enable the crypto industry to claim that his products are now approved by the U.S. government. Well, that's true. Yeah, it does add legitimacy to the crypto sphere. We're going to talk about some scams tonight. I got a few things to show you guys and warn you about, but I just wanted to let you know that, there's still a lot of people in Congress and, in mainstream financial circles that do not agree with a Bitcoin ETF. And there's always going to be people on the other side of the fence on this kind of thing. So I don't know that this organization is going to have, I don't know that I've ever heard of this. I've heard of the Better Business Bureau, but I've never heard about this. But I'm not like a financial, the person that follows stocks and bonds. And I mean, I read the general financial news during the day, but I've never heard of these people. So not that there's, I'm sure they have the best of intentions. I'm not saying he's flat out wrong. I'm just saying I don't follow the logic. I don't see the logic there. But I'm a crypto believer. And then I wanted to just quickly go over this little article here. I've got this article linked down below. You might want to take a look at it. And it's just basically an opinion piece talking about what he feels are things that the U.S. government, the Congress should address concerning crypto this year. I think if the spot Bitcoin ETF does get approved, it will probably spur Congress on to tackle crypto regulation. And with a spot Bitcoin ETF, trying to ban crypto is kind of out of the question, right? Because you've got BlackRock holding a bunch of Bitcoin, but they still might try to invade our privacy and regulate self-custody as much as possible to make it maybe not impossible, but very inconvenient for people to engage in self-custody. So this is a pretty good article. It basically just talks about some things that, let me see where it's, I thought it was a little more broken down a little bit. Oh, here it is. First, third, fourth. Okay. Let's see. Congress should formally establish that the Federal Reserve does not have the authority to launch a digital currency, CBDC. Fat chance trying to rein in the Federal Reserve to do anything. I don't think Congress really controls the Federal Reserve. It's a group of private banks, right? The only thing federal about it is their name. And the only thing that the government has anything to do with it is that the president appoints the Federal Reserve chair, but he appoints him out of a short list of banker insiders. So, I don't know that the government really can tell the Fed what to do. Of course, CBDC would be kind of in conjunction with the government, I guess, since they want it to be legal tender. So perhaps. Second, Congress should rein in the Federal Reserve's activities in general. Yeah, fat chance of that. Let's see here. Third, Congress should clarify what exactly the term legal tender means. Not that that's a big deal, I guess, but that's just something on his bucket list. Legal tender does not mean that someone is forced to accept cash. I think a lot of people think in that respect when they see on a dollar, this is legal tender for all debts, public and private, and then they go into a 7-Eleven with, a bag full of quarters or pennies, and the guy won't take them. And then, of course, somebody will start screaming, "Oh, it's legal tender, you have to take it." They're not obliged to take anything, really. Legal tender really just means that it can be used for paying taxes and fines and in contracts, right? Anywho, let's see. Fourth, Congress should prevent this is the important thing for crypto holders. Congress should prevent any agency from restricting the use of self-hosted wallets. Holding cryptocurrency in a self-hosted wallet is merely the digital equivalent of holding physical cash in a traditional wallet. However, some government officials have not been happy with the limits on current financial surveillance and thus sought to intrude on this space. For example, shortly before Christmas, the Treasury Department published its infamous wallet rule that would have required the identification of self-hosted wallet users. Rather than increase financial surveillance even further, Congress should make it clear that intervening on transactions between two parties requires a warrant, as Coin Center explained in response to the wallet rule. So just kind of a wish list of things that the Congress will address this year. You can just continue to wish. I don't think. But yeah, I believe there have been a few regulations aimed at self-custody and saying that, you can't withdraw from an exchange without somehow tying your identity to the wallet that you're sending the crypto to, which would be a huge intrusion on people's privacy and, the whole idea of crypto custody. So let me get caught up. We're going to talk about the discussion topic today is self-custody. Why is everyone so leery of self-custody? There were a couple of issues that I wanted to bring up in the forefront. One is this whole thing with self-custody. which we can go into in a little more detail. I've got another rant, which I'm sure you guys are, some of you probably just come from my rants. I don't know. And then the other one is, I believe on Wednesday or last week, I believe the title of the live stream was something about you should use a second wallet. And this was related to the Ledger hack that came out a couple of weeks back, and then a more recent hack of someone who was, a crypto insider that lost about $100,000 trying to claim an airdrop using his hardware wallet in conjunction. Apparently, I don't know if he had a hardware wallet connected to the wallet or not, but he was using a wallet like MetaMask trying to claim an airdrop, and he went online and found in his Google search results, just clicked on what he thought was the legitimate company for the airdrop, and it was not. It was, when he clicked on it, it was a wallet drainer, and he had like 34 ETH in the wallet, or ST ETH, which got drained. And so during that live stream, I said it makes sense to use a secondary wallet. Don't connect your go-to wallet to a shady site to claim airdrops or mint NFTs, or even to do DeFi. I think I actually demoed that last Saturday. I set up a second wallet. I set up this Ledger black on black, and we transferred some Solana into it, and we went on and did a little DeFi. And my point being that, you should, if you're going to do DeFi, which is somewhat risky, and you're going to connect your device to a DeFi site where you have to enable blind signing, then you shouldn't be risking your entire mother load of all your crypto holdings. Use a secondary wallet. Well, I got some pushback from people on that in the comments. People were, saying things like, oh my God, this is so complicated. The poor guy got his crypto stolen, and you're blaming him for not using a secondary wallet. And yeah, in a way I was, because this is all about self-custody. And so what is it, the problem that people have with self-custody, and what is it that people don't understand about self-custody? I want to talk about that tonight a little bit. And then I've also got some Reddit stuff that we can talk about. And I'm not sure, there were some questions about the Tangem wallet early on. I don't want that. We'll just keep that. We'll just get rid of these. So, but let me see if there's any questions here real quick. Everyone's screaming that there was no sound. Okay, I got that. Scroll down some more. Joseph, thank you. Joseph and I went back and forth with some emails, and he was asking me how to store I believe it's Sia coin. And, well, what I did was I went to their website, and then I tried to launch their app, which of course I'm not going to be able to do without being behind a VPN, right? Because it's not available to people in the US. But I only found 2 wallets that worked with this. But what I should have done was gone down here to ecosystem. And where was it? It was the ecosystem. Let me go back here. Yeah. I thought this was it. Well, okay. Okay, well now I can't even find it. But it does, yeah. Where did that go? Okay. And that's not what I'm looking for. Doggone it. Okay. See, I'm getting all kinds of stuff. Okay, I think it was here. There it is. Okay. Now you go down here to wallets, and then they have several wallets that you can use to self-custody C token. And Joseph found them for himself that you can use Kepler wallet. And I give him high marks for finding that out on his own even after I told him no. So yeah, I'm not always right? I'm not always right. Let's see. JDO is correct. If you want to gamble with SEFI and other shite coins, you do not have custody. Bitcoin should be your number one asset in crypto. Are we in bull? Yeah, I guess you could say we're in bull. I mean, we were up 160% over the year of 2023 for Bitcoin at least, and a lot of other altcoins. 34 ETH lost that smarts. Yeah, 34. Yeah, that was it. Rabby wallet is awesome. Yeah, Rabby. I'm assuming you can use your hardware device with Rabby wallet. Practice safe decks. I love that. That's great, LoyalX. Everybody plays victim when something bad happens to them. Got to take ownership. Dylan Noltz, thank you. I think I'm going to go into that. This should be a shirt. X-Loyal. Very true. Which alts are looking good against BTC? Best not to advertise your wallet address everywhere. Just my opinion. Ain't playing around with drops and staking, etc. Yeah, for sure. Just invested in C. Okay, good. Restocked 1800 Matic. Felt great to pay 362 in ETH gas fees. Finally didn't get ripped off by gas fees. Well, if you're using Matic, then yeah, the Matic fees are much cheaper. So of course, we're always trying to reduce our fees. So using alt chains like Matic, Binance Smart Chain, Optimism, Arbitrum, the alternate ETH chains have much lower fees. What do you think of BRC20 and CBR20 tokens? It's funny. I really tried to get into Ordinals back early 2023. I was kind of depressed around that time of year because the market was tanking. But I was trying to get into Ordinals. I found them extremely complicated, and I wondered how people were able to deal with them because I was having some issues. I think they get easier as time goes, but I'm not a huge fan of NFTs in general. I had some issues with some people that wanted me to promote their NFTs, and a lot of NFT projects are scamish. They're not always outright scams, but they're darn close. And NFTs are usually kind of iffy investments, unless, of course, you're dealing with a high-end, high-profile NFT, maybe. But reading about what happened to the NFT market over the course of 2023, I saw a few articles talking about how NFTs were 90% off their highs and that sort of thing. So the same applies for me with Ordinals. They're pretty much Bitcoin NFTs. So not a huge fan, but I should know more about them. That's something I need to get up to speed on. But that's just kind of my, opinion on them, is that they're just another version of NFTs, which I'm not a huge fan of. Let's see. Happy New Year, Gorgie. From your experience, finally, what would you use the Tangem wallet with or without the seed phrase? Yeah, that's a really, really good question. That gives me a little chance to talk about my Tangem wallets here real quick. Let's go over to our table. And I need to do this. And is this going to work? Oh, that was probably Dan texting me. Let's go into the Tangem. Yeah, we're in good shape here. I got to do my Face ID. Now, the question is, do I think you should use the Tangem? Whoops, this camera is not. There we go. Yeah, that's better. The question is, should I or should I not use the seed phrase with the Tangem card? And then an earlier question was, do you use a seed phrase or do you not use a seed phrase? Well, I have a Tangem wallet here, and you can see that it doesn't have a whole lot in it right now. I don't use my Tangem wallet for mainstream holding. Not that I wouldn't. I'm just not currently. Most of my coins are on my ledger because I've been using it for the last 4 or 5 years. But I wouldn't have any problem with putting a lot of crypto on this. This is the original card. It does not have a seed phrase, and it's not possible to use a seed phrase with the older cards. That was the original Tangem card. And the idea behind this Tangem card was you will never see your seed phrase. Everything is contained on the card. You can get a 2-card set or a 3-card set. This particular card is part of a 3-card set. And the 2 other cards are backups. They can be used interchangeably. And you never have to see your seed phrase, so it's easy to set up. You don't have to write it down. You don't have to worry about it. You don't run the risk of accidentally revealing it, which is about 95% of the scams and hacks involved with hardware wallets are tricking people into revealing their seed phrases. I'm going to show you a scam like that here in just a few minutes. So I thought, and I still think, that the original Tangem card and system fixes that problem in a great way, right? It eliminates the complexity, makes it really easy for someone that's new to come in and set up the card and the 2 backups, and it's very easy to use. You just, when you're sending out, you just hold the card to the back of your phone. All of that is really cool. The problem that people started to point out was that you have 3 cards, and if you lose all 3 cards, then you lose all your crypto. Now, that is a little bit shaky, but it's not that shaky. People save things of value without losing them all the time, gold coins, diamond rings, bearer bonds. I mean, there are a lot of things in this world that if you lose them, they're gone, right? The art project my kid made for me when kindergarten, that's a one of a kind. So we have experience with stuff like that. But with crypto, people were just antithetical to the whole idea of, oh my God, what if I lose all 3 cards? And it comes into the whole self-custody thing we're going to talk about a little more here, is why is it that when people are, entrusted with responsibility, they immediately assume the worst? I mean, it's always, oh my God, what if I lose all 3 cards? Immediately. That was the cry on social media. What if I lose all 3 cards? And my response is like, why do you just assume outright that you're going to lose all 3 cards? But it did go a little bit beyond that. We're talking about maybe custodying crypto over the long term, like multi-generational custody. And it's possible that the card might wear out, or that all 3 cards might wear out. And if you have no other medium to back up your private key, that could be an issue eventually. And so Tangem came out with a new card, and that's this card. And we can manage multiple wallets in our app. Like I can swipe here, and this is the black card set that we're dealing with here. This is one of the new cards, and this wallet is backed up with a seed phrase and the other 2 cards, right? So it's part of a 3-card set. And so it does solve the issue of what if all 3 cards are lost? What if all 3 cards wear out? All that kind of stuff, right? Because you have a backup phrase. And of course, the backup phrase should be written down, stored in a safe place, maybe multiple locations in case, something happens, your house, a fire or flood or whatever. Right? So it does solve that problem, but it reintroduces more complexity into the card. It reintroduces complexity into the user interface. Now the person needs to write down a seed phrase. They need to store it. They might get hacked or phished, and someone might trick them into revealing that seed phrase. So now it suffers from all of the vulnerabilities that other hardware wallets suffer from. So I'm still kind of on the fence as to which is best. I guess I would say that if you're a newcomer, I think you're perfectly fine with not using the seed phrase, right? Set up the wallet, really easy to do, custody some of your crypto on there, and make sure you don't lose all 3 cards, right? But I've always considered Tangem a bit of a working wallet. There are other issues. I won't go too heavy into any of the other issues that people have with the seed phrase being shown on the phone. A lot of people are worried that, it involves a phone and they would rather do things offline completely when possible. They're worried that if the seed phrase shows up on the phone, that a hacker or someone that's, somehow is going to see it. Remote access hacks on phones are somewhat rare, I would think, at least on an iPhone, but, that could be an issue. Anyway. And then I also have another wallet where I am hodling quite a bit of cash. That's this last wallet here. As you can see, we can sort of just swipe between the wallets, and I think that's pretty cool. So you can see that I am hodling a pretty decent amount on this Caspa commemorative card set, which I really like, right? And you can see that, in the app, it even shows the Caspa card set. So pretty cool, right? So I hope that kind of covers the questions about Tangem and my opinion on whether or not you should use the seed phrase, right? Let's see. Let's go a little bit into this. Lee, thank you so much. Jesus Coin is back again. Good to have you. Tangem rocks. Lee's alts are coming back down while Bitcoin dominance is going up. Okay, that's an interesting phenomenon to take. Let's see here. While hunting airdrops in MetaMask can expose your ETH address, you can always buy an ETH name and keep minimal amounts of ETH on that supplemental address. Not financial advice, but it's an option. Yes, Cecile, there are ways to mitigate risks. You can even have multiple configurations on one hardware wallet that would prevent wallet drainers. Like, I say, oh, you should buy a secondary wallet. It's just an easy solution that's not that much. I mean, in relation to thousands of dollars worth of crypto. I mean, in the case of the guy that had $100,000 worth of ST ETH on his go-to hardware wallet, or maybe he had it in his hot wallet, I don't know. It would have made sense to have used a secondary wallet. He was a CEO of a wallet company, and he was not using his secure wallet, which he said would have prevented this problem. He was using MetaMask at the time because he wanted to get this airdrop, and he was like doing some coding on his wallet. So there were a lot of, it was a combination of circumstances that led to this problem, but most of them were kind of on him. And a lot of people were kind of mad at me, because I was blaming him for not having a secondary wallet, or for using MetaMask in a pinch when he could have used his own wallet in a different browser. I mean, there were a lot of things I was pointing out in that live stream about what he could have done to avoid this. And everyone was kind of like, oh, somebody stole from him and you're blaming him. Well, yeah. Because self-custody is self-custody, right? You have to take personal responsibility for everything that you do. I know people in Western world don't, when they want to, rely on third parties. Comments are coming in fast and furious. You can use something like a cold card or seed signer to generate a random seed. Yes, if you don't want to have the app generate your seed, you can use a cold card or something else to generate a secure seed, but you'll still have to type it in on your phone, and that kind of like that is kind of the weakness. And that's really a function of the way the tap signer card works. I'm not tap signer. the Tangem card works, because there are no controls on the card. There's no keypad entry or keyboard on the card itself. You've got to use something else. You got to use your phone, right, for data entry and wallet management. We are creatures of habit. The whole thing with ledger seed phrase comes from a dictionary of 2,048 words, of which the 24 words created are randomized. Caspa has been on my radar. Are you an investor? I hold some Caspa. I hold a lot of coins, yeah. You create your own phrase. You most likely remove the ability of the words being randomized. Humans are very bad at randomizing, right there. Okay, tech and speak the truth. It helps everyone. Thank you, Rex. CryptoDad, is 24-word seed phrase enough, or should I add a passphrase as well? I've just been using my 24 words. I feel that if done properly and safely and securely, following all the instructions, that using the seed phrase is sufficient for most use cases. The passphrase is an extra layer of security. When you use a passphrase with a hardware wallet, you have an additional layer of security. Some people refer to it as, thank you, Dillip T, for that subscription. I appreciate it. But using a passphrase in conjunction with an ordinary seed phrase or an ordinary base configuration adds a layer of complexity that can cause to loss of funds. And by people that forget their passphrase or mistype their passphrase, there's so many things that can go wrong with setting up a hardware wallet in general, and then to add that additional layer of complexity of the passphrase on top of it if you don't know what you're doing, if you're just obsessed with Uber security and you've taken that security beyond your own level of expertise, then it could be dangerous. I wanted to point something out here. Before I get into my rant about self-custody, I wanted to point out this one issue, and this has to do with Uber security. I want to see if I can find it here. I may not, of course, when I'm live. I didn't have this one pulled up ahead of time. I'm probably not going to be able to find it. Here, maybe here. Come on, Rex, you can find it. Oh, God, please. Come on, you got to be able to find this. Can't you find it? Come on, Rex. Ah, doggone it. Well, looks like I'm not going to be able to find this. Doggone it. It really hacks me off when I do this. Gosh, doggone it. It's just a cautionary tale here, and of course I'm not going to be able to find it. Damn it. Okay. God, this makes me mad. Okay. I know what it is, so I can just say it, but it's much better when I read it. And it's not in here, damn it. I know it's not in there. God, dog it. Ugh. Paper wallets are obsolete. I like that. Oh, God, I should have had this pulled up. I was just talking about it, and so I wanted to, God, dog it. Yeah, I don't think it's in this one either. Doggone it. Oh, this makes me mad. Oh. And I'll find it 2 seconds after the live stream. Okay, I'm just going to tell you what it is. All right? There's a big warning in this book by Andreas Antonopoulos called Mastering Bitcoin about setting up Bitcoin wallets and recording your seed phrase. We've been talking about that a lot tonight. The warning was, do not follow the instructions, and they are good instructions, and if you follow them and record your seed phrase properly and put it, he said, write it down on 2 different things and hide it. He says, do not split up your seed phrase. Do not encrypt your seed phrase. Do not try to obfuscate your seed phrase by recording it in the wrong order or in, a mirror image or whatever kind of crazy little DIY scheme that you've got for obfuscating your seed phrase because you're afraid someone's going to find it, right? The problem with all of that is that you might lose access to your crypto because of your little personal scheme. First of all, may not be a sound scheme, first of all. And even if it is a sound scheme for somehow, I talked to someone who told me that they stored their seed phrase in a safe in different countries and stuff like that. Bless his heart. But he said something like, of course I wouldn't have stored the seed phrase in my safe deposit box. I stored a series of numbers that are related to a constellation that I'm familiar with. And, and from all of that, he's going to be able to recreate his seed phrase. Well, the problem is if he dies or if he has a stroke or a head injury and he doesn't remember what he did, then he's going to lose access to the seed phrase and the wallet. And even if it was a sound scheme, whatever it was he did, he may have made a typo or written something or transposed something during the process that would make it impossible to retrieve his seed phrase. So the lesson here is that if you write down your seed phrase and 10 years later, you lose your device and you need access to your seed phrase, you have the seed phrase right there. You don't have a puzzle that you set up for yourself 10 years ago. And then another issue with that whole scheme was that he wanted to give his Bitcoin to his children. Well, he was going to, at some point, he was going to have to pass this knowledge on to his children. So he was going to have to write a clear explanation of his little scheme somewhere so that his children would have access to it. So now he again has to worry about someone finding his detailed instructions to his little scheme. Wouldn't it have been easier to just figure out a good way to hide his seed phrase, right? If I die and my children find a seed phrase that I've stored with them with a lawyer or in a hot safe or whatever, then they have an industry standard that they could get help from someone else if they don't understand how to use it, right? If they get a whole bunch of gobbledygook code that I made up, there's no one in the universe that's going to be able to help them reconstruct that seed phrase. So please, guys, when you're recording your seed phrase, just record your seed phrase. Don't try to get fancy because you're going to end up losing your crypto. Bam, I said it. I got it out. But there's a little paragraph in this book that says it very clearly and concisely, and I wanted to read it off to you guys, but of course I couldn't find it. Okay. So I did want to talk a little bit about self-custody. That's the discussion tonight. I'm on the front lines. I do a hardware wallet, and I had to deal with the comments in my YouTube videos, and I get a lot of emails from people, about self-custody, and they worry a lot. And what I find just like the Tangem, what if I lose all 3 cards? Immediately, that's your first thing. When someone's entrusts something to you and they say, oh my God, what if I lose it? Why is that their first thought? But there was a Reddit post that I couldn't find. It was good. And it was like, okay, I just set up my first wallet. What if I get hacked? What if I die? What if I put the words in wrong? What if I did this wrong? What if, I'm terrified. I can't deal with any of this. Why is it that when we are asked to do something that only relies on us, we're immediately we don't trust ourselves. I just don't understand that. Where we go through our lives every day, we trust banks, we trust car manufacturers, we trust the supermarket, we trust our stockbroker, well, sort of. We put so much trust in third-party organizations. And then the whole thing about, like, okay, I put my money in the bank, and, if the bank gets robbed, FDIC will cover. Yeah, that's sort of, but if all the banks crash at the same time, the FDIC does not have enough money in its little, booty treasure chest to reimburse everybody if a bank goes belly up, right? But everyone thinks that banks are safe, but they're willing to trust the bank, right? There's so many things that we trust implicitly because they're third party. I don't know if it's our society that we're brought up that way, that it's burned into our educational system, or if it's burned into our culture. But it seems like everyone has moved away from what we might call the American spirit of self-reliance to now we put our trust in big institutions, right? We trust our doctor. We trust our dentist. Man, when I go to the dentist, I'm like Mr. Skeptic. I mean, they're just like, I remember once, and I'm not a rich guy, right? I remember I went to the dentist once and they were like, I had a problem with one of my teeth. And she was like, this is too big for me to, I got a piece of my tooth broken off. And she was like, this is too big to fix. It's too big for me to put a filling in there. You're going to need to, I'm going to need to put in something, do a root canal and put in an artificial one or whatever. And I said, well, then just pull it. And she's like, well, I'm not going to pull it. And I'm like, all right, fine. Well, then I'll just go downtown to the UCS Health Center. This was in LA. They'll pull it. You can go down there for free and the students will pull your teeth out for you. And then she was like, oh, don't do that. I'll fill it. So I'm like, don't just trust everything that authorities tell you, man. Have a little pushback. But that's a little off topic. But why is it that when you're confronted with self-custody, no one trusts themselves, or they don't want to trust themselves? They want to blame everybody else. This is another one that I get all the time. I get someone that has a problem. They did something wrong with their crypto, and they always say, I already sent, they'll go, CryptoDad, can you help me? Because I did X, Y, Z. And I don't know what happened to my crypto. I've already sent an email to Ledger, or I've already contacted Ledger support and they haven't gotten back to me yet. That's their first instinct. As soon as something goes wrong, contact Ledger support. A lot of times what they have done is not an issue with the device itself. It's something that they did wrong and they need help. But their first instinct is, well, I gotta go to Ledger. They're the only ones that can help me. And I'll tell people stuff and they'll be, oh no, I got to hear it from Ledger. I'm like, okay, you want to hear it from Ledger? Go hear it from Ledger. Go hear it from a guy who gets paid, minimum wage to be tech support and has a little script in front of him. I mean, I'm not trying to bag on Ledger tech support, but most tech support departments are not experts. They're paid employees that sit in a cubicle all day and have a script. And most of the time, their little script will fix the problem that they're dealing with. And then other times they have to escalate up to somebody who really knows what's going on. Every now and then you might run across somebody that, has been working there for 10 years and really knows, what's going on. But most of the time, tech support knows less than you, to put it bluntly. So, do your own research. Go on Reddit, go on, in YouTube comments, do searches, Google search, but don't just use the first answer you find either. we just need to learn to take responsibility for our own actions. And an ounce of prevention is worth whatever, something cure or whatever, if you're mindful leading up to what you're doing. One of the things I always say is do small tests. I always say do a small test first. Most of the problems that when people come to me with problems, is they've done something with a huge chunk of crypto. They'll say it's their life savings. And I'll say, well, why did you just use your entire life savings in one transfer? Why didn't you try a small test first? I just don't understand the mindset here. Don't transfer crypto when you're stressed out is another thing. Now, I know this is stuff that I learned over time, but people need to learn to take control of their lives and their self-custody. That's what crypto is all about. If you're just going to buy a hardware wallet and do crypto, and then immediately when something goes wrong, your first instinct is to, I got to contact the company. They'll tell me what I did wrong. Why don't you just educate yourself before, during, and after the fact, rather than immediately turning towards a third party? Anyhow, I don't know. I could just be ranting. I'm just going to look at what some people are saying here. We are trained to be children, students, lack of self-confidence. Basically, we are trained to be good little slave. Audingo, you couldn't have put the words better than I did. You took the words right out of my mouth. I have a big problem with, the public education system. My kids are in private school. We learn social conditioning when we're in school. A lot of that is very important. We need to learn to work together and follow the rules and all that stuff. But yeah, there is a mindset in our education system that, there is an authority that you should look to for your answers, basically. Amen on the pushback. Always question everything. I uninstalled the app and reinstalled, added my accounts back in. When I added back my ETH account, my quant was gone. That's kind of interesting. I'm not sure about quant. And we're going to cover that a little bit. It is an ERC20 token. I don't know that you bought it on the other chain, perhaps. I'm not sure about that. Obviously, it was there before. You can connect your Ledger device to MetaMask to check. And even you could get the contract address of Quant and go over to your MetaMask wallet. And for example, you could go down here to import tokens and then put in that Quant token address, that contract address. And then you can see if there's any Quant in the wallet, right? This is a standalone wallet, but I could even do that over on my Ledger. So if I'm looking at my Ledger account here that's attached, I have my Ledger attached, and that's where this account derives from, I could do the exact same thing, right? Go down here to import tokens, put in that Quant contract address and check and see. I don't have any Quant, but you would probably see your Quant using MetaMask. Right? So things don't always work properly in Ledger Live. There's some sync issues. They don't support every crypto. A lot of times they haven't added support for a particular crypto. I don't know why when you reinstalled clean that it didn't, if it was showing up before, why it's not showing up now. Could be some kind of sync issue, but you can go over to MetaMask and check that. It's all good until it happens to you. I've been extremely careful and did nothing wrong. Yeah. I've had my share of mess ups. I have exposed my private key a few times during my videos. I did it once with a Bitcoin wallet. And I remember I was explaining how to set up a wallet, and I was using a seed phrase, and I didn't blur it out. And my thinking was at the time, I'm not going to put anything in this wallet. But like another about a month later, I think, I ended up putting something in that wallet inadvertently, not remembering that I had exposed the seed phrase. And I looked in my Electrum Bitcoin wallet, and after about 5 minutes, there was an outgoing transaction. There was an incoming transaction of Bitcoin, and then there was an outgoing transaction. So someone had seen that video and saw my seed phrase and set up a bot to check that wallet for any incoming Bitcoin. Because, I mean, it was within 5 minutes that they sent the Bitcoin out. So no one, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I don't make mistakes. I'm just saying we have to own those mistakes and learn from them, and maybe learn from other people's mistakes without having to lose any crypto. AVX is down low. Why? I don't know. I can't tell you why coins go up and down. Yeah, I wish I could. I wish I did. I don't have the contract address. Well, you can look it up. All you have to do is go put in that quant in CoinGecko, right? Just, you saw me do it right then. Here's quant, here's CoinGecko. You search for quant, here's the contract address right there. Boom. Click to copy. That's it. You can even do it like you can click add to MetaMask and it'll like do it for you. Now it's going to tell me that I've already done this, right? But yeah, right? Yeah, it's not that difficult to check. Hopefully you'll find that quant. I would like Ledger Live to make Ledger. I would like Ledger to make Ledger Live a little more modern, add graphics, and make the platform just a little bit of a more enjoyable experience. They probably will. Now we're gonna go into some of these Reddit stories here, and I wanted to this whole thing with Ledger Live. Now I understand your sentiment there. Yeah, Ledger Live should look a little nicer or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem I have with Ledger Live is that that's another one of those third-party things where everyone feels like Ledger Live should do everything for them, right? I bought their device, their software should do everything. And they get mad when I say, well, you know, for that crypto, you need a third-party wallet. And then they get all, you know, bent out of shape over that. Well, it's crypto, right? And I'm not a huge fan of Ledger Live. It's kind of a Swiss Army knife when I personally wish they would just focus on Ledger Live being a good wallet as opposed to, you know, being a place where you can buy and sell and swap and, you know, the Ledger Recover service and all this other crap that really isn't wallet related directly, right? Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. And then the whole idea of maybe having a secondary wallet so that you're not putting your main holdings at risk. I mean, what do you guys think about that? I don't see any problem with going out and buying another $150 wallet. I mean, surely the guy who had $118,000 worth of ST ETH could probably afford a second Ledger device if he needed it. Or, you know, but like we said, we don't know for sure if he was using a hardware wallet. It may have just been a standalone wallet. But that's a lot to keep in a standalone wallet if you're into crypto. But he was kind of into the software thing. So I don't know. The idea that, you know, it's related more to the crypto, the software connection hack from a few weeks back. There were people, the Ledger reimbursed people. I think it was around 600 million that was lost in total. But it was, yes, Ledger made a mistake by not keeping their software rollout process safe and secure. Like there was an ex-employee that hadn't been, that they should have blocked access for him and he still had access. That's all kind of like company kind of stuff. But that was a small connection software. But my take on that whole incident was, why were people connecting their go-to devices to do this shady stuff, which is minting NFTs, claiming airdrops, that kind of stuff? That's kind of risky stuff. Now, just DeFi, swapping crypto on Uniswap is kind of a day-to-day kind of above board kind of thing. But I think a lot of the people lose their crypto with these scammy, shaky kind of things where they're claiming an airdrop, jumping through a bunch of hoops. Sometimes it's a legit airdrop. A lot of times these airdrops, there's a whole gamut. I mean, sometimes it's a legitimate airdrop and the coin turns out being worthless. Sometimes it's a legitimate airdrop. You're going to get the coin, but the people that are doing the airdrop are pumping the coin, and then, I don't know. They're semi-scams, right? But then there's a lot of them that are just outright scams, you know. They'll say, oh, claim airdrop here. You click on it, you connect your wallet, boom, they steal your crypto out of your wallet, right? So if you're going to be doing that kind of stuff, and minting NFTs is another big example of that. A lot of people get their Ethereum wallets emptied out by these minting scams, like, oh, they have links on Discord, and WhatsApp and Telegram, mint here, get this NFT now, you'll be a millionaire because you got to hurry, you got to do it now, and you click the link and your wallet gets emptied out. If you're going to do that kind of stuff, then don't use the wallet that's got like 100 grand worth of crypto in it. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like walking around, walking down a dark alley in the middle of the night with 100 grand in your back pocket. I mean, why would you take that risk? I mean, if you have to go down that dark alley, like you're looking for your kidnapped sister or whatever, then, don't carry all your money with you when you go in there. Go in there like well armed and, with a little bit of spending cash. If you got to bribe the guy at the door to get into that, backdoor club or whatever. But yeah, don't just like go into a dangerous situation carrying all your cash with you. It just doesn't make any sense. So why would you connect a hardware wallet that's got hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of crypto when you're claiming an airdrop? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not bagging on the guy. It wasn't that cut and dried, but it's just makes sense to me that you should use a secondary wallet in that situation. And everyone was bagging on me in the comments. Oh, you make it too complicated, CryptoDad. Why can't we just use one wallet? Why do I have to buy a second wallet? That's too complicated for me. I'm like, okay. I mean, if you're just hodling, great. Just use one wallet. Go more power to you. I agree. One wallet is all you need if all you're doing is hodling. But if you're going to do the risky stuff, use a different wallet or a different configuration, which can be done by using a passphrase configuration. But that's technically challenging, and you could screw something up. You might accidentally, use the passphrase wallet when you shouldn't, and that kind of stuff. So, get a red one and a blue one, right? Use the blue one for hodling. Use the red one when you're doing DeFi. That's me. So it's the same address for everyone? It's the contract address right here. It's the contract address. It's... All right. Yes, it is the same. The quant token has what's called a contract address. Right here. It says contract. This is the address of the token contract. And when you put that in MetaMask, you will see that token in your MetaMask wallet. Yeah, you see what you got, always relying on Ledger Live to do everything for you, right? So you're waiting for Ledger Live to show you your quant token. And there's an easy, quick way. It took me 2 seconds to show you how to do it in MetaMask, but you're sort of lost because you've never done this before. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that relying on Ledger Live for everything has shielded you from a lot of the rich learning that you could have, to know more about exactly what's going on with these tokens. You never were really forced into it like I was. I'm like, okay, well, how do I do this? I need to learn how to do this. Well, if all you want, I just want to use Ledger Live. Ledger Live took care of me up to now, right? Until today when they're not showing me my quant token. Yeah. Believe me, your quant tokens are still there. And forgive me for being flippant about this whole situation. I know it's very important to you. I apologize if I offended you. I don't mean to offend. How long does it take to get your Trezor wallet delivered? I ordered it 3 weeks ago. I haven't received it yet. The Trezor is based in the Czech Republic, so sometimes things can get complicated. It also depends on your shipping preferences. I don't know what their default is, but I believe it's DHL. It really shouldn't take 3 weeks. Although if you got a tracking number, you might want to see if you could track it and find out. I have the FedEx app, and I have the UPS app, and I have the DHL app. So anytime anyone anywhere ships me anything using any of those 3 services, I'll get tracking alerts on my phone for them. Like I didn't even know, Satoshi Labs, the makers of Trezor, sent me a Christmas present. And they had mentioned it a couple months back, but I didn't really know when or where it was going to come. But I started getting alerts from DHL on my phone because they had used my address, right? So DHL was giving me alerts, and I got an alert that my package from Trezor was held up in Cincinnati at one of their hubs due to a customs exception. And it went on for like a day or two, but it didn't take 3 weeks. So I'm not sure what's going on with it. Normally does not take 3 weeks to order a Trezor device. It usually comes within a week, but within reason. But it is the holiday season. I don't know. I would suggest tracking it. Yes, it's the safe 3. He is hesitant because he's afraid of himself making a mistake. Okay. When you ordered it, did you get a confirmation email? Right, yeah. Why buy a new wallet? I have 1 ledger and a dozen wallets. It's a little bit of work, but I don't see the problem. Yes, Ron, I totally agree. You can do multiple configurations. You can use a base configuration for your working day-to-day stuff, and you can use a passphrase configuration to store your mother lode right behind the passphrase, and you can have multiple passphrases. But for most people, that's a little technically challenging. It's doable, but for someone that is having trouble just using a wallet, using a wallet with multiple configurations and multiple passphrases can be a little challenging for someone like that. That's why I'm saying a second wallet is probably easier, but it's not necessary. You can, of course, use multiple configurations within your Ledger device. You can also use multiple Ethereum accounts. There's all kinds of ways of mitigating this whole issue of not putting your long-term holding at risk when you're doing DeFi. Yeah. The simplest and most straightforward for me, for a newcomer, is, hey, just get a second device and just use that for DeFi. And if you're a newcomer and all you're doing is hodling, then just ignore everything we're talking about, right? You might want to make a support ticket. I do want to give a big thanks. Anytime I transfer crypto or learn about a new token, you seem to always have a video on it. Please, appreciate your work. Why, thank you. Yes. I was trying to get their email address, but I am seeing it. I will go to their website again. Okay. Yeah. Usually when they send you a confirmation email, they'll send you a tracking. let's go into some of these things that we were discussing here. I kind of want to stick to just discussing stuff. I'm not going to move a whole bunch of crypto today. We could do a little bit. But yeah, I kind of wanted to talk to these Reddit. The first one is Scam Alert. And this is kind of a good scam in the wild. He took a screenshot of this. So it has the Ledger logo up here. And I'm assuming this came in as an email. I don't know for sure. It looks like he took a screenshot of his phone. But the message here is wallet breached. We're notifying you of a recent breach impacting all Nano device models. If you hold assets on any Nano device, it is crucial that you use the official scan interface to ensure your portfolio is protected. That is very scammy wording from the get-go. Ledger would never send out an email or a message of this nature. It's very broad. It's referring to it as a portfolio. Ledger would probably say something more precise, like your crypto, as opposed to referring to it as your portfolio. After completing the scan, you will be prompted to fix any security issues that may exist in the firmware and or software that your Nano model is operating on. Sounds pretty legit, but I'll bet you if you click this link, there will be an issue that needs to be fixed, right? And that issue will involve you entering your seed phrase. So this is just the same old scam in a different package, right? W just donated. Thank you. I appreciate that. I haven't seen the alert come up yet, but I can see it in the chat window. When you do DeFi, can they also drain your BTC? As BTC is another chain and has no smart contracts. Or can a malicious entity also drain that? No. A malicious smart contract only works on the Ethereum blockchain. That's what smart contracts are. They only have access to the wallet in question. So if you give access, there's that alert for W. Thank you. If you give access to a wallet drainer or a malicious smart contract, then they only have access to the wallet that you're currently using. And that would most likely be your Ethereum wallet, right? I'm not sure if they could drain other chains like Binance Smart Chain or not in that situation if you had stuff on the Binance Smart Chain in the exact same address, right? But I'm pretty sure that the malicious smart contract can only gain access to the wallet and the chain that you are operating on at that moment. And definitely not Bitcoin. So no, they could not get access to your Bitcoin by doing this, right? But also, if you listen to what I said there, the user allowed access by clicking a confirmation on their device. So the device was working properly. The user was authorizing something that he shouldn't have been authorizing. Now, I get it. It's difficult to know, right? It's difficult to check, especially when you're new. But the ultimate confirmation comes from the user itself. So the wallet itself is working as designed, right? And Ledger discourages people from using blind signing, which is a lot of times that's what's going on here, is that they have allowed blind signing, which means that it doesn't really explain to you what's going on in the smart contract on your device. Ledger has this thing called clear signing, but not a lot of people have implemented it yet. Most DeFi sites require you to enable blind signing for them to work, and that's because the ledger cannot interpret what is going on on those DeFi sites, right? There's a mismatch. So the Ledger wallet is not capable of interpreting all of the smart contract information that it's being presented with. So the only way for the transaction to go through is to enable blind signing. And when you enable blind signing, usually everything is fine, everything works as intended, but you need to be very careful that you're on a legitimate site, that you're doing something legitimate. If it feels funny, if it feels scammy, then you should take a pause, right? And if you're going to be doing that kind of stuff, then you shouldn't be using your go-to ledger or your go-to configuration, right? You could have a passphrase configuration or maybe multiple Ethereum wallets, that kind of thing. That's a little complicated. I think it's just easier to say, use one wallet for hodling and use a different wallet for doing DeFi, if you must do DeFi, right? Now, I don't know what the percentage of people using DeFi is, really, of all the Ledger wallet holders. I think there's like 5 million people that own Ledgers or have bought a Ledger at some point in the company's history. Of those 5 million, I don't know how many of them are doing DeFi. Most of the people that I hear with Ledger have they put some Bitcoin in there and throw it in a drawer, which is not that great either, but better than, doing DeFi. Yes, so scammy. Don't ever enter your seed phrase into your phone or your web browser, right? This is a big, big no-no. And they're always going to try to pretend that it's Ledger, right? This is another issue that we get when we put all our trust in third parties, like Ledger and Ledger Live. You get a faux email and you just assume it's from Ledger and you trust them implicitly, and then you get scammed. So trust yourself. Trust and verify. Yeah, this is just everyone else is like, yeah, this is a scam. Thanks for posting. Let's see. There was another one here I want to talk about. This person sent optimism on Arbitrum to an Ethereum address on their ledger. Okay, so they basically bought some Arbitrum and some optimism on Coinbase or wherever they bought it, and then instead of sending it to the proper chain, they sent it into their Ethereum wallet. And of course, optimism and Arbitrum are not going to show up in your among your Ethereum ERC20 tokens. Gary Boyd, thank you for that subscription. W, thank you so much for that donation. I appreciate it. And question, right? So here, the guy has been relying on Ledger Live, and Ledger Live has failed him because he made a mistake, right? So now he's calling Ledger support. What do? I sent some optimism to my Ethereum wallet. Well, Ledger's going to say, "Well, we don't support optimism," all right? But the thing that they have to do is they go over to MetaMask, they connect their device, right? You pull this down, you go add hardware wallet, you connect your Ledger device, right? I've already done that, right? This is my Ledger. It's the same balance as we see over here, right? It's the exact same wallet. I just have it connected to MetaMask, right? And now I just need to pull this down and add the right networks. Like I can, let's take this off. We'll take that one off, right? So all I have to do is go over here and say, add a network. And then let's add Arbitrum. Boom. Approve. Done. Now I can switch. When I switch over there, I would see any of the Arbitrum tokens that I may have transferred to my Ethereum wallet. It's the same exact address, right? That's what he did. He sent his tokens to his Ethereum wallet address. They did not show up in Ledger Live. So what he needs to do is just go over here, connect his device to MetaMask, set up the wallets, and then set up the other chains. Like we're going to add network and we'll do the Optimism network. All right, we'll approve that. we can switch over. And I actually have a little bit in there, right? And so if I'd have accidentally sent optimism in there, I would see it here. Right. I also wanted to point out that I read an article about Moon River, and it was like, hey, Moon River's up. And I was like, oh, man, I thought I had some of that. And I was like pretty sure I had some, right? So I went over to MetaMask, and sure enough, I had set up the network before, and I went into Moon River. Oh, it's not going to do it this time, is it? God, I just did this 2 seconds before the live stream started. All right. Okay. This always happens to me when I'm live. What is up with that? Ugh, are you kidding me? Oh, okay, fine. You can't really see. It might or it might not go. They must be high network right now. And you have to learn to deal with glitches too, man. Like, it's like, yeah, they can't connect, right? Okay, fine, you can't connect. But you can see there's a balance in there, and it's like $344. And I was like, well, wow, I had like $344 laying around that I didn't know about. Because I think when I checked this like last year, it was like $100 or less, like $90 or whatever it was. So it's bouncing back. The only problem is that I put in 1,000 when I bought it, right? So it's still not back to where I bought it. But I had totally forgotten about it, so it's a good thing. All right, fine, it's not going to pull up. Whatever. Anyhow, all right, so yeah, I thought that was a pretty good. Now, this one. This guy is complaining that somehow he was trying to do a transfer. Okay, so David just sent me. Okay, I just got an email from David. Thank you, David. I'll look at this in a little more detail. I thought that I had shown you what to do here in the live stream, but okay. Well, I'll take a look at your email and we'll see if we can't get you straightened out here. It may have been deeper than what I thought. We'll see. So basically, he's using Ledger Live to do a swap. And they asked him to do KYC. And they started asking questions. And now they won't send him his money back. And apparently he looked at the forums, and this is fairly common. So we're seeing a lot of people in here complaining about Changely, which is a third-party service that runs under the hood when you're doing swaps. I think in swaps. I could be wrong. Is there any? Okay, I don't have enough Bitcoin to do this. Let's do Solana. There should be some in there. All right. Now this is CIC, so I don't see Changely in here. Maybe they're doing the buys and sells. Okay, so let's say I want to buy 1,000, and yes, let's do Bitcoin. Whatever, anything, just okay. I still don't see Changely, so I don't know how he managed to interface with Changely. Maybe it's here in Discover. He did Changely. I'm not sure, but somehow he was doing a swap in Ledger Live, and I guess Changely in the middle of the swap, which meant he sent his coins to them expecting something back. He failed the KYC with Changely, right? So this is just another heads up that don't use Ledger Live for everything. It's really not the best solution. It's a great solution for storing crypto, don't get me wrong. But for everything, I don't know. Buying and selling. So basically a lot of the people in this thread told him, oh, and I want to put some of these threads in. I couldn't fit them in the description. So I'll just drop them in the, oh, okay. So apparently, oh, it's too long. Doggone it. All right, fine. I can't do it. That one's fine. That one about optimism, I'll drop in there. Okay, fine. I won't do it. Can you just let me out of this? Okay. All right. It's not going to let me out. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. There. That's the one that we talked about with the optimism arbitrum issue. Can I just do this? Good heavens, that's long. Yeah, I think that one should work, right? Shouldn't that do it? Will that take you to that post? Yes. Okay. So that's the... Oh. Right. That's the post about the scam. And this is the one about Changelly. So a lot of people in here are telling him, look, man, if you want to swap crypto, then send it to a centralized above board exchange in your jurisdiction rather than some third party operator under the hood that's based in Europe or whatever, and you're in the US, right? And their requirements are so strict that they're going to err on the side that supports them, right? They're going to err in their favor so that they don't expose themselves to tomfoolery. So if they think that you're doing anything underhanded, you're trying to do fraud or you failed their KYC, they're going to hold whatever crypto because they don't want to expose themselves to any legal action, right? God knows what they do with that crypto. Now, everybody in here is saying they're a bunch of thieves and they do it on purpose and that they're stealing everybody's crypto. I don't think so. I think they're just trying to, a lot of this has to do with things beyond their control. All this like European crypto regulation and US crypto regulation that's making it very difficult for third parties to process people's crypto transactions without, verifying everything, Yeah. So, I mean, if you've got a Coinbase account in good standing or a Kraken account or a Gemini account where you can buy and sell a large array of cryptos, then it's much easier to just transfer your crypto, do your swap or your sell or whatever you want to do, and then move it back to your wallet, rather than using these inline features of within a Ledger Live, because it's not Ledger that you're dealing with here. You're dealing with a third party. You're dealing with Changelly. You're dealing with MoonPay. You're not dealing with, a lot of people. And if you had a problem with this and you go to Ledger, they're going to tell you, it's not us, this is them, right? If you go to this Discover section, I mean, there's like I don't see it now, but I believe the first time you go in there, they're going to tell you, hey, this is a third-party app. This is not us. Some of it is, but most of it, it's not. Right? So don't trust Ledger Live just because it has the word ledger in it. Right? It's not Ledger. I mean, most of it is Ledger, and they created the interface. But when you're doing buy, sell, and swaps and Ledger Live, you're dealing with third parties that are in other countries. They have no obligation to you. They don't care whether you give them a bad review, right, on Yelp. They're just worried that U.S. regulators are going to come after them and try and shut them down. So they're going to err on the side of caution, to your detriment. Anyhow. Okay. Now, I want to get to this one issue that you guys may have heard about. I don't know if you've heard about this or not. Yeah, a lot of times you have to use a VPN. Last year, the swaps were done by Chantel, then Ledger switched to CIC. Okay. I just use Simple Swap. There's no KYC. Okay. Do you think Tangem is truly safe? I really hate that question, safe. That makes it sound like I'm, like if I say it's safe, you're going to blame me if it isn't. I don't like that question, is it safe? I mean, do your research and decide whether you think it's a good wallet or not. I've talked a lot about Tangem during the live stream. You can go back. My view as to, the pros and cons of using the Tangem wallet. But the word safe doesn't really apply. Does it work? Is it a good wallet? Does it do what it's supposed to do? Is it secure? Is it open source? I get all that, but is it safe? I don't know. What's safe? I know what you mean. I just don't like that question. Vans will only assist you so far. When they ask you to verify your address, the VPN becomes useless. All right. VPN does not get around KYC methods like take picture with your ID. Right. If you have to submit your KYC documents, VPN isn't going to shield you from anything because you're giving them your ID, which usually has your address on there. Seems like Trezor is no email address. It's only bot chat. So you had no confirmation when you made this purchase at all? You didn't print anything out or save anything when you made this purchase of your Trezor? Seems rather odd to me. I'm sure you were on the official site. I can't even get on their website for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Well, I'm still on YouTube. Okay. Yeah. Well, let me try it into this browser. Unless I misspelled it. No, it was just auto-completing. Okay. Support. A lot of times you're just going to have to jump through their hoops and go through support until you can open a support ticket. Yeah, most companies are like this. They don't have direct emails. Usually at some point they'll say, "Oh, hi, kitty." Okay. Kitty's here. Were you sleeping? You think I'm going to let you out not in the dead of night? I don't think so. I don't think so, buddy. Aha, here, need help. Okay, they've got a chat window here. It's a bot, but that might be one way to get a hold of them. Right, they have a chat bot down here. So that might be something that would at least get your conversation started. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes you can't just pick up the phone or shoot an email to somebody at a company like this. They would be inundated with emails from people, "Oh, I forgot my PIN," They'd have to go through thousands of emails every day. That's why they shield themselves from that by forcing you to actually, go through this process to get contact with someone. I just it seems strange that you made a purchase with no confirmation whatsoever. You didn't save the information. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I need more monitors. Well, look at this cat, man. He's just crashed out, man. Look at him. Yeah, now he's taking a bath. Yeah. Okay. All right, there's another issue that's going to cause some of you to maybe get... Oh, you did receive a confirmation. Okay. So did you get a tracking number when you did the confirmation? Do you have an order number that you could give their chatbot? That might help. Order status option. Okay. So let's see. We got device issues, orders, and payments. Placing an order, change, modify, cancel, change email, confirmation email not received, delivery and tracking, Trezor shop delivery issues. Okay, where is my package? Okay, then they direct you to chatbot Hal again. In where is my package? Chatbot Hal, which is this guy over here. And if you've got an order number, then perhaps you should use that to find out. Maybe they could track your order using the order number if you got that confirmation. Okay, I wanted to cover this last issue here. It's pretty crazy, but it has my favorite Reddit post of all time on there. I love this Reddit post. All right, so here's one post, right? I don't know if you've heard this story about this guy who lost 27 Bitcoins using Ledger Live. And he was using a thing called coin control, which I personally have never used. But apparently, if you're doing a Bitcoin transaction, let's see if we can get it lined up here, just so you can see what we're talking about here. Okay. All right. So, okay. Ledger Live, paste. All right. So if we go to advanced, they have this thing called coin control, which will allow you to sort of fine tune your coins. Oldest coins first. Yeah, I've never used, I have to be honest, I've never used this. Minimize fees. Okay, you can do that. The idea here is that perhaps you're using dollar cost averaging and you have a wallet that you've made multiple deposits in and never made a withdrawal, and you've got a whole bunch of Bitcoin in there, and you're trying to somehow fine tune what you're doing and minimize your fees. And so what it does is it like combines your all of your UTXO transactions into one blob to minimize fees or whatever, right? But it has to do with fine tuning an outgoing Bitcoin transaction, one that I have never used. I'll just put it out there. He has a 5-year-old Ledger Nano on October 23rd, upgraded my firmware on it to 2.69.0 and tried to send some amount with specific UTXO with coin control. But when I tried to send this transaction, I got an error on the front end and decided to send BTC with regular way without specifying UTXO. And the same problem again, error. when I found out that Ledger Services was overloaded and a lot of people faced network issues and decided to try again later. A few hours later, I found that all my BTC was sent to an unknown address. I got 2 new transactions. Blah, 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 blah. First one merged all my UTXOs into one, possible coin control bug, and the second one sent correct amount. As I wanted to the recipient and change was sent to address I still can't generate with my generator. I tried like 10 KK accounts and over 1 billion addresses visible and change on each account and still can't find it. Other assets still on Ledger, so it's not some kind of hack, I guess. In other case, I should lost all my assets. My seed phrase never been written on PC and phone or any kind of online service to store notes. Could someone explain what happened? All right. First of all, this is not a very clear post. It's not really clear exactly what he did. And there's a lot of people commenting on it. And they say that he seems remarkably calm for someone who lost around $1 million worth of Bitcoin. And then someone says, read the post comments in the original post. He used the Ledger Live app and his 27 BTC change was sent to a change address. Why wouldn't he share the actual post, right? He did a screenshot of his phone of the post. Perhaps you should have posted the original post on your post. I'm glad you posted this about his post. I'm glad you replied to a reply about reposting the post that he was replying about. All right, so that's all fun and games. Well, here's the original post. All right, and it's the same post, right? He has a 5-year-old ledger, and then he goes into a lot of there's a lot of speculation as to what happened. Was it a bug in the Bitcoin software or the Bitcoin app, which is open source? All of the apps on Ledger Live are open source. Or is it a bug in the Ledger firmware or the Ledger OS, which is not open source? So there was a lot of speculation about this. And a lot of times when you see posts like this, the original poster, or as they refer to as the OP, sort of disappears. Well, he doesn't really disappear. He's there. He comes back. Sorry for the silence. Yes, I tried all types of accounts, paths, and billions of addresses was generated, even for m/path, and there's no such address such as this address that was generated. So what he's talking about is when you send Bitcoin, all of your Bitcoin goes out, right? And then part of it goes to your recipient, and then the change goes back to your wallet, right? It's weird, but that's kind of the way Bitcoin works under the hood. And so what he's saying is what happened to him was that the transaction went out. The recipient got the 0.5 Bitcoin he was sending, but his change went back to an address that he does not have access to. That's what's going on here. Now, we can run this address on the blockchain because he posts it here. And you can see here on the Bitcoin blockchain that he's not lying, that there is that address that he gave does have 27 Bitcoin in it, right? And you can see when he did that transaction that 0.5 went to the recipient and that 27.3 went back as change to this address, right? And it's still sitting there. So if it was a hack, then the hacker probably would have moved the Bitcoin by now. This happened a while back. Now, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but the issue here is that it's very unclear what he did. And there's a lot of weird things were going on. First of all, he says 5-year-old. And me being CryptoDad, I'm going to just point it out that he says that he's tried billions of addresses using some kind of software that he's some kind of coder, right? So he knows how to code, he knows how to do Bitcoin, but he doesn't really know the difference between software and firmware, right? Because this is not a firmware version. This is a software version. So the ledger firmware, if we go into my ledger, I connected my old Ledger Nano S, my really old one. Ugh, and I got to put in my my PIN code. All right, let's do that. Almost there. Okay. So it's going to load up. So you might think, oh, well, I'm splitting hairs, right? Well, this is the latest version of the firmware, 2.1.0, right? This is the latest version of the software, which, whoops, my bad, which is 2.73.1. So in his post, he's talking about 2.69.0, which is the Ledger Live software. So he says, I upgraded my firmware to 2.6.9.0. So he doesn't know the difference between the firmware and the software. But he's a coder and he's checked billions of addresses. Seems weird. But there is a Bitcoin address with a bunch of Bitcoin in it that seems to fit his narrative, right? Now, there's all kinds of people speculating as to what happened here. Some people are saying it's a bug in Ledger Live. Some people say it's a bug in their Bitcoin app, and on and on and on. And then there's a whole line that says that it was a bit switch due to cosmic rays, if you can believe that. And there are a lot of people that are subscribing to this cosmic ray theory of the bit flip. First of all, if this were a known bug, then it would be obvious, and there would be more than just him dealing with it. So if you look here, you can see that it's the address has a 3 here. So this is a legacy address. So he's using an older format of the Bitcoin address format. He's using an old device that apparently was in his drawer for God knows how long. And he came out and he updated his software, but maybe not his firmware, and something glitched, and his change went to the wrong place. At least that's his story, right? But I've got to give you my all-time favorite Reddit post. Where is it? Okay. So here's the story. People are going back and forth. And then we get down, and yeah, that's his Ledger Live version. We get down here, there's some people, a random non-reproducible bug in the Bitcoin app, which could be an explanation. And then, come on, where is it? And then some people saying he's seen this sort of thing before, and he thinks it could be Chrome related, or he's seen it happen in Chrome when people were using outdated phones to run Ledger Live, that sort of stuff. Come on, Brady. Where is Gabriel? Doggone it. Oh, come on, Rex. I know you can find this. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Gabriel, Ledger customer success. Hi, could you contact customer support, please, and open a case ID here? We would need some information that you will need to put on the case ID that you will create for customer support. We need the logs, a screenshot of your BTC account, including your transaction history. One of our agents will investigate, right? Hey, Ledger support to the rescue. He goes, this is Gabriel, right? Hi, Gabriel. Could you update us? Quite a few people are intrigued by what happened here. Gabriel, could we please get an update? Thanks. Me too, Gabriel. I'm not touching my device until I know what happened here. Gabriel, where is the exact bug in LL or wallet? Gabriel, please give us an update. This is scary. Any update on this? Considering for the first time I buy a new hardware wallet that is not Ledger. I have a Ledger Nano S since 2018, but this post would change my opinion on Ledger completely and make me scared to transact if this is not explained, sorted out, or even refunded to the owner. Please update, Gabriel. How is there no update after nearly a month? I can't recommend Ledger to anyone right now. What happened? Please update. And my favorite post of all time. God damn it, Gabriel. Oh, it's perfect, man. But you see how paranoid everyone is over this weird glitch that only one person had. And everyone's freaking out over it. Everyone's, turning it upside down. You have to remember that when people post things on Reddit, a lot of times it's not legitimate. There are a lot of people that post stuff on Reddit that say, I lost all my Bitcoin in my Ledger device. Now, this one seems pretty legit, right? And the guy does come back several times in the thread to sort of like reply and update and say, I tried that, I tried this, and that kind of stuff. So he doesn't just disappear. A lot of them just disappear. But they will note that he never apparently did not open a Ledger support ticket. So the speculation here is that some people speculated he did open a ticket. Turns out it was a bug in Ledger, and he's suing Ledger, so he doesn't want to talk about it. Okay, I get that, but he's still been in and out of the thread. The other speculation is that it's not Ledger's fault, and they're suing him, and he's suing them back, and nobody wants to talk about it. But it's much more likely that this guy is just blowing off steam, and it may not even be true, and he hasn't gone. If it were me and I had lost $1 million, I would have followed that link and opened a ticket, right? But he is asked several times by Ledger support in this thread to open a ticket, and they can't find his ticket anywhere. Apparently, he's claiming that he did open a ticket, but Ledger can't seem to find it. So because he can't provide a ticket number. So it seems a little shady, right? But everyone wants to throw up their hands and not use their Ledger anymore over this one dubious story about a weird bug that may or may not have happened, right? If people were losing like millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin when they use Ledger Live on a regular basis, we would know more about this, right? This looks like a one-off, and I'm not even sure it happened or not. But I did kind of want to bring it out there because I've been hearing rumors of it. So this is the original post on that. If I'll throw it in the live stream down here, if you guys want to follow this. It's an interesting Reddit post. Crypto still wild, wild west. His Bitcoin was stolen. Now he doesn't have to pay taxes on it. Okay. Software is the Ledger Live version. Yeah, firmware is on the device. Which cold wallet do you recommend? Where do you stake your coins safely? I recommend 3 different wallets as my top picks. The Ledger device, because it's powerful and flexible, supports lots of coins, it's been around forever. I like Trezor as well. If you're into the whole open source thing, they're a little more transparent, but they don't support as many coins. And then I also recommend Tangem because it's very easy to use. But you can't just say what's the best wallet, right? There is no such thing, right? And so I would love to tell you, go out and buy this wallet, but that's not what I'm about. I'm here to help you make an informed, intelligent decision about what's right for you, not everyone else, right? So, this comes down to self-custody, self-responsibility. You have to make the decision. You just can't come to me and expect me to just tell you which wallet to buy and then get all upset if you can't figure out how to use it. Damn that CryptoDad. He told me to buy a cold card, and I can't figure out how to use this damn thing. All right. Different wallet for different people, different use case, different budget, different skill set, different expectations. Are you holding a lot? Are you holding a little? Are you using Ethereum? Are you using Bitcoin? Do you want to use a lot of crypto? Do you only need one crypto? So you have to decide the wallet that's best for you based on your needs. And I'll put it out there. Dan, I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. Oh, it looks like we're going to be doing Thursday, Dan. Maybe we could get together for lunch on Tuesday. I don't know. Because the meeting was moved to Thursday. But I look forward to seeing you, Dan, in person on Thursday. Thank you, Kenny, for all of the news stories. I have posted my Reddit handle there, the CryptoDad. If you're on Reddit and you see a post by the CryptoDad, that is me. I am the official CryptoDad, and I do hang out on Reddit, and I try to help people when I can. I hang out on the Ledger thread and the Tangem thread and just kind of help answer questions to the best of my ability. I want to thank everyone that donated tonight. I want to thank everyone that was here and asked questions. Thank everyone that was listening to my rants. I really appreciate it. I did a review on the Descent wallet. We ran out of time. I didn't really get a chance to talk about the Descent wallet. We played around with it a little bit on Wednesday, but I did not get a chance to demo it. Just because I didn't mention a wallet doesn't mean I hate it or I don't like it. I just gave you my top 3 picks based on popularity and usability. But if you're into the whole security thing, a cold card, a Keystone 3 Pro, or an Elipal, or a One Key, or a Descent wallet. There's just so many wallets out there, right? It's hard for me to keep, get them all in when I'm doing my live stream. So anyway, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Don't forget, we do this every Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me again for the live stream from Michigan, where you can throw out questions and I'll do my best to get them answered. Also, I do a stream on Wednesday mornings, afternoons. We did one on 11 on this Wednesday, or last Wednesday. This Wednesday, I'll probably move it back to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check me out on the Hardware Wallet Roundup, where we focus more on the hardware wallets and I focus a little more on doing demos and that kind of stuff. Once again, guys, thank you. Sorry about the mic in the beginning. I could have sworn it had been unmuted, but I was wrong.